Hey everyone, my name is Matthew Beaudouin, and today we're going to look at Middle Out, which is a cut that I started creating in January of 2017, worked on until June of 2017. It took a while to really find the correct move, the thing that I wanted to look like, especially for the closer. But yeah, got the closer about 5 days before filming Negative Space, which is a bit of a short timeline, but I'm really proud with where it is now, happy with what it looks like, and I'm happy to share it with you. So let's get into it. So you're going to start in upper Ladislas grip, and your top hand's index is going to peel off about 1/4 of the deck, and your top hand's thumb is going to do the same thing but on the bottom, which means that those two packets are being held by the index, while the middle packet is just being held by the bottom hand's forefingers and thumb. So next you're going to take the middle out. And you're going to regrip this packet so that it's resting on the crotch of your thumb of the top hand. So you can adjust the grip by pressing with your middle finger, and that kind of makes it more comfortable. Next up, you're going to reach over with your top hand's ring finger under here, which can feel a little weird, but bear with me. And you're going to grab the corner to separate this out. Now, the next part is a little bit tricky, and you might want to look at the slow-mos to really understand what's going on. But basically, the packet that's held between both index fingers is going to rotate a little bit, such that it can scoop the other packet that's in front. You're going to release the grip with your top hand's thumb on it, such that as you press with your bottom hand's middle finger to make this the inner angle more angular, you're going to press with your index finger until it collapses vertically like this. So from the top, we have upper bit, dealer's grip, index and thumb peel things out, middle goes out, regrip with the crotch of your thumb, ring finger peels off half the remaining packets, press with your middle finger and scoop that up, and index presses against until it collapses like this. After this, you lower your bottom hand to get this kind of display, which you shouldn't linger on too much, but it's there. Then your top hand's middle finger is going to contact this packet, and it's going to allow it to pivot off the middle finger of the bottom hand. And your thumb of your bottom hand is going to do basically the same thing. And to do that, you might need to close the grip a little bit, but you want to do that as little as possible when you're practicing, because it doesn't look very good. Once you do that, you're going to apply pressure with your top hand's thumb here, such that you no longer need to hold it in place with your bottom hand's thumb, like this. And your middle finger is going to move upwards to make those packets more horizontal, and your index is going to finish the job by pressing a little bit, such that those two inner packets can be pressed up against the crotch of your thumb right here. So to recap, we have the inner two packets are horizontal and held by the middle finger of your top hand and your thumb of your bottom hand. Now you're going to release your grip, which can be tricky. Sometimes you have cards that are stuck somewhere. Really just kind of have to iron that out with practice. But your bottom hand is going to move downwards like this, and they should fall in such a way that their short edges touch. Once you're here, you want to apply a bit of pressure, but not too much, with your ring finger here, so that you can move this up. And your thumb is going to open up, and your forefingers here are going to press up against here, so that you can get this closing motion. Now we're almost done. You're going to use your thumb of your bottom hands and pinky and ring finger to press this down. Details are not super important, just as long as you can figure that out. It works, whatever works. Then using your thumb and ring finger, you're going to clip this packet like this. your index is going to apply pressure close to you so that when your middle finger applies its own pressure, you can rotate it kind of in slow-mo, like this, which leaves you in dealer's grip. All right, so now that you've learned the mechanics and figured out how it all works, it's kind of difficult to wrap your head around all of it because none of it's really a Z grip or anything too familiar, at least that I know of. But there's a couple things I'd like to go over which really help sell the whole mechanics. So for one thing I don't go into the explanation that much is that this motion where you grab this package should happen at the same time as you're opening. You don't want that to be two pieces. It should really just be one motion. And you should flow right into the collapsing part. That should be all kind of one thing. Once you're here, another important part of middle loud is that the top hand is really staying fixed in space, such that when you make this switch, for example, your bottom hand is rising, but your top hand doesn't move, and then your bottom hand lowers itself, so it doesn't move. So that really gives the impression that you're replacing the packets, which I think has a nice feel to it. One of the difficulties when practicing this cut is that if you're using cards, it's very easy for them to get stuck in weird places, especially around this where you have things that are very tight. My main tip for that is to try to relax your grip as much as possible, even though that's hard because then you have other cards that can fly everywhere. Another very useful thing is to use squids if you have some, or things like that. So you don't have to care about as much the cards flying out, and you can just, do the cut. Also, I found that using squids is very helpful to practice having a relaxed grip on its own, which can also be helpful. So hopefully you find that all useful and incorporate that into your practice for middle out. Hope you like it. All right, so that's middle lap. Hope you like it. It's kind of a tricky cut to wrap your head around because the grips are kind of weird, but I think if you understand the mechanics really, and with a little bit of practice, you'll get into the zone and understand how it works. If you have any questions, you can put a comment down below and I'll try to help out. You can also reach out to me directly on Instagram through my handle @Matthew Beaudouin. If you like these tutorials, you should probably consider subscribing because there'll be more in the future. That's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.